Welcome back to Booze, Bros, and Cars, your favorite podcast about booze and cars. And we are your hosts. I'm Eric.
Mike.
I'm Carmelo.
And I'm Nick.
All right, it's the first time we've actually all finally been on the podcast in, God, I can't even remember how long.
It's been
Probably
a
little while.
month and a half or so. Probably a little bit longer than that, but, we're all back together here. All right, so, of course, first up, what we're going to be talking about is what we're going to be drinking today. So I'm going to take a page out of Nick's book here. So I've got some Woodford Reserve here. Really, really good. Really enjoying this stuff right now. And then I also have, which actually Nick drank this as well. Actually, wait, is this the one that you drank? I think it is. It's from Burial, and we stray further from our purpose until it becomes no more. Is that the one that you drank?
I think all the names are so wild, man. I can't
They're
keep
so
track
funky.
of them.
Yeah, so this... Oh, actually, wait, hold on. Where's art? There it is.
Yeah, I think that's the one
There's
I had.
art. Super, super awesome tasting beer. Nick, you said that you really enjoyed it, so 13%
I think
ABV.
I said it was my favorite stout ever. I believe
You did,
the words I used. Yeah.
You did say that. But yeah, 13% ABV. It's an imperial stout with peanut butter, honey, salted coconut, and vanilla bean. Actually, yeah, this is the one you drank.
Yeah, that's the one. That's definitely it.
I have 4 more from Burial in my refrigerator, so I'm going to be drinking those sometime later in the podcast. I had to buy extra ones because you hyped them up, and I was at Burial, and I had 2 of their beers, and oh my god, dude, the beers there at the brewery, so good.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, but quick note, so Burial, if you guys didn't see that podcast where we were talking about them, they're located in Asheville, North Carolina. So I was up there for a week for Thanksgiving, really enjoyed it. So I still have a ton of beer that we've got to drink from there. Actually, Nick and Carmel, I got to meet up with both of you guys because I've got beer for you as well. But anyways, Mike, what do you got?
Speaking of beer that you brought for everybody, first of all, anybody watching this, Merry Christmas, because this is going to air, I don't know, a few days before Christmas. This is the week before the holiday. So anyway,
Yes.
I'm drinking Hot Banshee. This is one that Eric just gave me. I think they're from Jacksonville, I believe.
They're from Jacksonville.
Brewing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is their IPA. Pretty excited to try this. I think this was your buddy Chris, right, that gave this to you?
Yep. That was my buddy Chris that got us those beers. Nice. Actually, Nick and Carmelo, I've got a couple of those beers for you guys as well. Nice. Shout out to Chris. I'm going to get it right this time. He's in the Navy.
Navy.
Yeah, so he's... yeah, so of course he's a veteran. So he sent me a list of the beers, and I was like, yeah, those IPAs sound really good. So he got us a couple of 6-packs. So thanks again, Chris.
Right, I won't make fun of him then.
Yeah, watch out, Nick. Come on. The second one is one of Nick's favorites. He probably still has some on draft, but it's 2 Xmas. Once again,
there it is.
Doing the holly jolly thing here. So the 2 Xmas. We'll get to that one in a couple minutes. But Carmelo, what are you drinking tonight?
So I'm back. I know I've taken a little hiatus between work and some other things going on. I got a collaboration from Drecker and, of course, my favorite brewery, The Brewing Project. Everybody love everybody. It's a rainbow sherbet sour. It's a true sour. It's not a smoothie sour. So it has that tartness on the end. I'm trying to think. Has a little bit of guava, some hints of cherry and raspberry. Really good. So far, I've had 2 sips so far, or maybe more. Viewers, let me know. Stopped counting. But no, it's really good. Tart. Not as thick as I like, but it's a little thinner and tart. So
every now and then you need a little spinner in your life.
Yeah, I gotta mix it up, right? Gotta. Go ahead and what you got, bro?
All right, so I'm gonna show the 2 things I'm drinking tonight. One's a gift I bought myself. One is a big gift I bought myself that I'm not opening just yet. But my baseline for the night, I'm doing it simple. Little Cooper's Hawk Sauv Blanc. I just was feeling something like I'm just feeling a little wine tonight. I pre-gamed with some Eagle Rare earlier, so this is my my chill out a little bit with the Cooper's Hawk. The other, my nice Mount Fuji glass. Walked through Total Wine today, and there you go. Picked up a little Glenlivet 15-year. This was their French oak reserve, so it was aged in some French oak barrels to kind of change the flavor profile up a little bit. I've not had this one before. I think I've had a 15 before. I've had a handful of 12s, so this is just one that caught my eye that I wanted to try. And then the special boy that I'm not opening tonight, but I'm sure Eric can use this as clickbait in the title. Yeah, I spent all the money on the damn thing. We have a Sam Adams Utopias. So as Mike liked to point out my Facebook post, it's got the cool little windows on it like a brew kettle would have. Little Sam Adams in it. These bastards are damn near $300. They only release them every 2 years. They are aged for just shy of 30 years, I believe. This batch started in 1994. That's in this barrel or in this bottle. And it's 28% alcohol. So everything, as I've always been told, and Mike can confirm this, is it drinks like a cognac or a brandy. So it's not your typical beer. It's basically a beer that's so fortified it drinks like a liquor. Which both of those options are up my alley.
Which essentially it is. When you think about it, 28%, that's basically malt.
It's real close. So I'm excited to open this. I wish we could find a way to do an in-person podcast where we could crack this open and all share some. We have to try and figure something out because I'd like for all of us to have a little bit of this, but I don't know how to get it to you guys to travel. Unless, maybe I take some of the small glass flasks from my meads. I might be able to pull this off. I may actually be able to pull this off where we can all have it. From what
I remember, it's not very carbonated, so you could probably get away with that. It's not like it's
my understanding is you store it on the shelf like a liquor, and it's going to stay like that. So I think we can pull that one off and transport that. So maybe in the next few weeks we'll figure that one out if we can't all get together.
Yeah, for sure. Hell yeah.
That, or we could do a garage podcast. We can all do it with the Mustang in the background. And
we could try and pull that one off.
Yeah.
I'll bring the expensive ass beer. You guys figure out how the logistics of that.
Yeah, right. All right. So yeah, we definitely have to figure that out anyways.
I like to share.
Yeah. Sharing
except for my food and my wife. That's about it. Everything else I like to share.
Actually, you do like
two very important things to me.
Actually, you do like to share your food when you cook.
When I cook, but when it's my plate,
No, that's understandable.
You reach over, you come back with a bloody stump. Like, it's mine, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Joey Tribbiani.
Do you swallow? Is it a thing? I'm just curious. How cannibal are you?
I mean, meat's meat. $20 is $20.
It's good to know. Good to know.
Anyways. So on to car talk. So one thing that we kind of did want to bring up is a very interesting topic. We do enjoy talking about this. It's not like we actually enjoy them. We don't hate them, but we don't enjoy them either. Is EV vehicles. Apparently, their values are dropping 30% over the last year, which is kind of crazy to think. Yeah. Carmelo, you actually made a really good point. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Don't say the point. Eric, do you
I wasn't going to.
Okay.
No, I wasn't going to, but you made a very interesting point. So go ahead and bring that up.
So, Nick, with your background in this, I'm kind of intrigued on your thoughts. There's clearly been a supply and demand issue. Tesla upping their supplies, reducing the demand. A lot of their leases for the Model Y are expiring. They were released sometime late 19, early 20s, mid 20s. Those cars have now hit the market. A lot of that is getting blamed. Also updates in, battery life over the past few years and infrastructure. But what are you seeing on the car market side? Because I know, with Ford, they have the Mach-E. You guys deal with a lot of plug-in hybrids too. You got the Lightning.
So we don't really have any issue with the plug-in hybrids having a resale issue. That's one for us that a lot of us in the industry support more than the full-blown EV. So we'd love to get more of those, a plug-in or even just a normal hybrid. Hybridization, a lot of us believe, is the now and the near future, and that EV is still too early. My dealership personally, we have done the $1.3 million investment to be a Ford Model E dealer. So we are going in hardcore. However, kind of what we're seeing, to Carmelo's point, is the Tesla market and the whole EV market's not doing great on the secondhand market. And a lot of that's driven by Elon. He cuts prices and he drops things. I mean, if we've seen anything with Elon, whether it be the car market, the stock market, or whatever, cryptocurrencies, he loves to play around with things, right? And in this case, he owns Tesla. He can do whatever the hell he wants. He can really control that market and be one of the most, the highest volume EV dealers or EV manufacturers in the world. He really has a big say in that by something as simple as cutting a price here or there. The problem is when he does it by like $7,000-$8,000, something like that, like a lot of money, and it affects everything. Yeah. And we've talked about this. I've bitched about this before. The depreciation of certain vehicles out there, like Ram. I will always call out Ram trucks, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in general, because they get to this point of selling out of fear of overabundance. I don't know what it is, and they start putting out these crazy manufacturer rebates and discounts and stuff like that, and that instantly depreciates that market on a second hand. So when time comes to trade or resell it, it absolutely destroys the value. The complete opposite is like a Subaru. Subaru doesn't believe in rebates and very, very few discounts ever. And they are one of the best reselling vehicles in the world in terms of value. So the EV side, people keep playing around with it, cutting the prices. Like we had Lightnings on the lot that got re-invoiced while we had them to cut the prices because Ford's basically playing the game with Elon. And I'm sure Ford isn't the only brand that's dealing with that because of him. And this is, I'm not knocking Elon Musk. The dude's crazy, but he's a genius. But he likes to play games with certain things, and this is kind of one of them. Now, at one side, yeah, but I don't care about EVs. But on the other side, it does affect my livelihood and what I do. So it is important. But really, that's what we're seeing is the secondhand aspect. To your guys' point, right? Cars are coming out now with bigger ranges, and it's not drastic changes. But you talk to most people, they'll tell you the current ranges just aren't enough. Right. So that changes. The new technology changes when they come out with like dropping this and making a subscription. All these things are changing technologically so fast that a half-year-old model is now obsolete. And that is what drastically affects the market and the resale, because if you're going to skimp and pass on the new one to save money on the pre-owned, you're going to save as much as humanly possible. So it's kind of a consumer-driven market as well in that aspect, because people are kind of dictating what they want to pay. But, dude, I had somebody come in the other day with I forget which Tesla it was, and he only had it for, I don't know, a handful of months, and it dropped like 30 grand. Like, it just tanked. It's bad. It's a real problem. I had a Mach-E guy the other day, bought one from another competitive dealership, and it dropped like 20 G's in like the 3 weeks he owned it, just to put on the secondary market, because and here's the thing, you get the tax credit as the first buyer and stuff like that. So that comes into effect. If there's rebates, if a manufacturer puts out $8 grand in rebates plus a $7,500 tax credit, you put those two things together, there's $15,500 instant depreciation right off the top on the secondhand version. Less miles, less wear and tear. So there you go. I mean, there's 15, 20 grand right off the rip if you drove for 2 weeks.
That's crazy,
that's what we're seeing.
Yeah. That's so you kind of proved one of my you showed the obvious point. And before I go any further, Mike or Eric, do either of you have any input before I drop my thought after studying this and reading articles, watching documentaries? So I think, Nick, you hit it right twofold. One, Elon has always said he wants the lower end Teslas, the 3. He still wants to come out with a $25,000 range, or a $25,000 price range vehicle. So he's all about almost making it like the car of the people, almost like the original intention of Volkswagen.
And that makes sense.
And then you brought up, and he's so honest about this that whether it's in his book or in interviews, he leaves everything open source so that Ford, GM, Kia, Hyundai, whatever company can just take that and make it their own. He's filed the patent, but it's open. But the major thing that I'm seeing between the rebates is that between the rebates and the range is Elon almost treating Tesla as a tech company, much like Apple or Samsung or even Google or Pixel rather, their Pixel line, and doing annual updates with enough small changes to get people to consider buying this year's version over last year's, because that I think is what is slowly driving the market down. Is, oh wait, this car has full driving, but this other the next gen is going to have full driving plus, or sometime next year they're coming out with a updated that isn't backwards compatible. So that coupled with the few other things you mentioned, I'm curious.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny you mentioned like the whole like tech thing and like the upgrade, like a phone kind of thing. First of all, I got to call out Tesla just recalled 2 million vehicles for the auto driving thing.
I did see that recently.
That's not going to help values and people's trust in the brand. They're going to get it straightened out. Let's be real. It's fucking Tesla. No. They're going to get it figured out. But
yeah, I think it's funny you mentioned it's going to be a temporary hit to the brand.
It's funny you mentioned like the whole upgrade thing. So Tesla wouldn't be the first brand to do. I believe Volvo and BMW and maybe one of the other Highlines do this now. And I know of some dealer groups that do this. They do car subscriptions where you can pay so much per month and drive one of these 4 cars in this tier, pay so much more, and one of these. There's a auto group out there called Asbury or Asbury Park, I think, or it's Asbury Auto Group, but they have one somewhere out in Texas. It's like Asbury Park or something park that they own. Park, I can't remember. Anyway, it's all Highline, and you can do their subscription product, and you can pick out for $1,300 a month. A 718 Cayman, a 718 Boxster, an M3 330, like stuff like that. They have all these different M340, whatever the hell it is. So they have all these different things you can choose in this tier, and you can drive for like 2 weeks and say, all right, I'm done with the Boxster. I want the Cayman 2 weeks from now, and they come swap it out for you. You just keep paying this fee. So this whole subscription thing's already been done by groups and certain manufacturers, and I see that being a big thing for the EVs. If some Tesla will be the first one to jump on something like this, and it's no different than doing the AT&T Next 24 or whatever. After 24 months, boom, here's my old one, give me the new one. And it's no different. You make your payments, you swap and keep making payments.
A little bit different, right?
Yeah, that's really what it is. So I would not be surprised to see that happen in the EV market in the next couple of years. It's just going to take somebody to put it all on paper, the plan, and just roll it out.
So
and even if they did it tiered where $7.99 a month, let's say, covers insurance, you would get
do as well.
the long range, Ys 3s of current year, and then in a year from now it would drop $6.99 for a lease turn in or the last gen last year's model. Actually, a really good subscription.
The company is selling. All they're doing is writing down the vehicles, right? You're not paying into equity or anything like that. You don't have an asset. You're just simply using a vehicle. You're paying a use fee, and that's exactly it. You're under no obligation other than to just not crash the damn thing and put gas in it. That's truly simply it. It's like a no strings attached rental, and you can flip up to the next one for the same money or upgrade to the next tier for more money.
How is that any different than a regular lease program?
When your contract expires, you either keep it and get a discount, or you go up.
The biggest difference is, so here's how it's going to work, right? So if you lease something, the manufacturer technically owns that. That's their asset. You're just listed as a driver and a co-owner of the vehicle when you look at if you ever saw the title and whatnot. So that's how that works. You don't actually own the car when you lease. It's the manufacturer or the captive. Exactly. So the captive. It's like same with my Fords. My Explorer and my wife's Bronco are both technically Ford assets that I and her are drivers on and co-owners of for the term of our leases.
Right.
So at the end of it, you have the option to trade it, buy it, or sell it outright for some manufacturers and just walk away from it. And then where the subscription thing comes in is rather than having a set term, you have a set amount per month,
Mm-hmm.
and it's basically, like I think Carmelo mentioned, it's basically just open-ended, right? You decide what to do, when to do it within that tier, with minimal obligation to the vehicle, possibly no maintenance, just really gas and drive it, or charge it and drive it.
Yeah, I mean,
and then whenever you're ready, upgrade to a different model the next model year. And all they're going to do is they're going to take your payment internally, write that vehicle down, and when they decide it's no longer good for the fleet, they're going to go put it on the used car lot and sell it as a pre-owned vehicle. So that's how that's going to work on a business aspect.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the manufacturer could sell it as a CPO with the EV. Well, there's minimal maintenance other than what? Tires, windshield wipers, and brake pads. And the brake pads are a little bit excessive if you think under 70,000 miles, 75K.
Yeah, and to Nick's point, I mean, obviously we've seen manufacturers actually kind of already doing and talking about implementing a subscription service with their vehicles. This
I think
might be
Volvo was the first to kind of jump in and try it.
Yeah, which it's a different subscription service.
They did it.
What
Was it mid COVID, sometime around 2020, maybe even 2019? They did it with their Polestar when they turned the
Polestar. Exactly, that's what they were trying to do it with, I think.
Yeah, and BMW actually announced that they were going to be cutting the subscription service because it wasn't exactly working out in their favor. But it's weird because Audi is actually now going to be implementing it to their vehicles, which is weird. I mean, obviously, this is a different subscription service.
You're not talking about like subscribing a vehicle though to drive. You're talking about subscribing to features of said vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Well,
like you have to pay for a subscription service for air conditioning.
That's a new issue. That's a new pay to play, just like a game on your cell phone. That's a new thing coming up from a lot of the Highline brands. But no, we were talking about actually subscribing to a car. Or to a line of cars.
Yeah.
That's what me and Carmelo were talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that Polestar or Volvo was actually doing that.
I don't know if they still are, but they were starting to test the waters back in like 2020 as COVID was coming around, like kind of before it. They were one of the first ones to do it. And that's when I learned doing research because my dealership was looking for some new things to do, my old general manager. And that was one of the things that I found that we were looking into was used car leases and new car subscription. And the Asbury Auto Group is doing it in their Highline Auto Park somewhere in Texas, Grapevine, Texas, I think it was. Wow. So I did a lot of research on it. It was really cool to see how they do it. It's very simple. It's not the cheapest thing because they're talking about all Highline in this particular case, but it's a super doable thing, and it's basically a form of a lease, really. Except at the end of the day, you have no real attachment to that one vehicle.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that's kind of weird. I mean, because like at that point, you're pretty much just kind of doing like a rental.
It's a glorified rental, but it's a glorified rental for less per day probably to drive a 911. You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that. That's why it's usually a Highline.
It's a way to make it affordable again. That's a good point.
Yeah, but
that's a good point.
Somebody
could lease it. The lease will be $200.
Yeah, somebody could be driving a 911 for 3 weeks and say, "Hey, I'm taking a family trip. I need a nice Cayenne turbo," and boom, or the GTS Cayenne. All of a sudden, they've got a Cayenne for the next 3 weeks while they go on a trip, and then they come back. They could be like, "All right, I want to go back to another 911," and they'll come over, they'll swap out vehicles and drop the 911 and take the Cayenne.
I feel like if you're going to do a family trip, you're not going to do a family trip.
How do we get on this? Now we're talking about leasing Porsche Cayennes when we started this with.
Well, it was dropping the EV thing and the whole subscription, and I mean, it definitely got a little wild, but
where are we?
God, pay attention, Mike. And I'm just kidding.
Bro, it's been a long day, but I'm like, what the fuck? Where are we going?
Yeah, Carmelo got me sidetracked in automotive industry stuff, so and I can go deep down those rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to our next topic here, which is a topic that I was kind of trolling the guys. I don't know if you guys actually really noticed me trolling, but apparently trucks are a big problem. And what we mean by trucks being a big problem is actually, Mike, I'm gonna let you take over from here. Go ahead and kick it off.
So it was just yesterday or the day before when I saw an article. I think it was Car and Driver put an article out, and Obviously we talked about it a little bit earlier, but the main gist of it, it's a funny picture. It shows a little K truck in the front, and then a Hyundai Santa Cruz behind that, and then a little bit bigger truck, and then like a giant full size like Silverado dually or something in the back. And essentially, the whole point of the article is that America specifically is filled with trucks. Ford, Chevy, Dodge, the list goes on. But like the point is that the vast majority of people that are driving these trucks do not need a truck, or not a truck that they need very often. So essentially the article is like, the big problem is that we have all these big giant thirsty gas or diesel consuming vehicles on the road, and all they are is to inflate people's egos. Like half of these people don't haul anything or load anything in it. So I don't know.
And they're getting expensive.
And they're getting expensive.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Outrageous.
But like, if you look at comparisons between trucks 10 years ago and trucks now, I mean, just like any other vehicle out there, they're getting bigger. There's more airbags. There's more speakers. There's more creature comforts on the inside. There's,
one of the things I love seeing is look 20 years ago. And if you take a 20-year-old Tundra, F-150, 1500 Silverado or Ram and put it next to a Frontier or a Tacoma or anything from the modern day small trucks or mid trucks are bigger than the full-size trucks 20 years ago.
It's crazy.
And that goes perfectly with this article of, over the years, they've just grown more and more. And again, we talk all the time, I'm at a Ford dealership. I deal with this on a daily basis. One of the things I can tell you that proves the point of just how expensive they're just getting bigger. We priced out, I think it was an XLT or a Lariat, 2018, apples to apples, 2023, almost identical. $11,000 increase in price in 5 years for a apples to apple comparison. So that's the first problem. The pricing is a big problem on these things. COVID, parts, whatever you want to make the excuse about, but
like pricing
why make them
bigger? Because people are paying for it. Like, people are paying the prices. It's not that big. It's not that big of a deal.
So many, like maybe half the people come in and are actually concerned with the towing capacity of the truck, that it has the right towing package and stuff like that, because they're going to use it. A bunch of them though, be like, nah, I've driven a truck for a while. I just want a truck. Oh, what are you got to tow? What are you gonna haul? Oh, nothing. I just want a truck.
I just
like
Carmelo.
That's Carmelo.
But it's oh, he was just saying he's got some really rough connection. But
it's just really, I think the whole article just kind of brings a point that, like, we've talked about this before, like off camera and on the podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like we've brought it up, but it's just, people drive trucks not for.
Sorry, guys, I had some technical difficulties, and I heard you guys wanted to talk about the truck market, and since I just shopped it, I wanted to be involved. I could only hear Nick and you two on the bottom would only come in every now and then.
Well, coming from the only guy here with a truck, I mean, your opinion is pretty important in this matter. But so Carmelo, what are your thoughts on this article? I know you actually read it, so what are your thoughts?
I read it. It's kind of funny because I agree with a lot of people. A lot of guys are buying this because they want to live that manly, rugged lifestyle. So for me, during Ian, I have a government job in law enforcement here, and Ian was very detrimental. I was a part of one of the teams that was utilizing trucks to get in certain areas, recover certain things, vital to getting everything safe and secure in Fort Myers Beach. So I kind of fell in love with the F-Series platform as I was driving it. I mean, I was doing 12 to 14-hour shifts, in total of driving in it, probably 12-hour plus. But I really enjoyed it after it. I remember towards the end of everything, I think I talked to Nick about, even an STX, F-150 four-wheel drive.
We were building deals.
we were building deals, and I was all about it. I don't know if it was, because of devastation, and I built this like connection in my mind, some emotional attachment. But then he came to me, and like the cheapest we could find one with the options, I think it was like heated seats, four-wheel drive, and Apple CarPlay was somewhere in the mid-50s.
Yeah.
And it
I
was
believe it.
insane. It was insane.
Yep.
And then a friend of mine, I helped them find one. I know I talked to Nick about it, and they ended up going to a different Ford dealership a couple hours north of us, finding an F-150 that was, I don't know if it was a rental, but it was owned by the dealership, got a great deal on it. And even that model, when I got ready 6 months, 8 months later, that same truck from the dealership had a premium of like $3,000 on it. So when I started looking, I compared the Toyota Tacoma because the Hilux, the Toyota Hilux is they're very similar, slight differences, but the Hilux, as Top Gear proved, is indestructible. So I was looking at that. The Frontier has always been internationally a Hilux competitor. And I also looked at the Tundra, which I'm not a fan of the new hybrid electric. If the older model was still there, I'd probably be in a Tundra with the 5.7, I believe it's a 5.7 V8.
I love the way
I
the
like the
new
F1.
trucks look, but yeah, I hear nothing but bad things about the drivetrain.
No, and I don't mind hybrids. I drove a hybrid Explorer for a year, maybe 2 years. I had two different models that my employer had for me, and they were great. They had their own unique quirks that I would get used to after a while. But, I do like to do some trail riding, a little bit of overlanding. I haven't done some in a while. But I was looking basically for four-wheel drive, something that can haul. I showed a picture of you guys with a built-in. My wife and I have a big wall in our living room, and I ended up building out a built-in. It's about 7.5 feet wide, about 1.5 out. But we needed the truck bed for that. Yeah.
Bottle service. VIP bottle service.
First off, Nick Carmelo's there telling his story, and he's randomly on the road. I'm like, what is going on?
That was unprompted. She just showed up with a bottle of wine.
Dude,
So.
I'm not gonna lie. That was perfect, man. Holy shit, that was hysterical.
I was almost out too. I was so close to the bottom.
Great timing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Carmelo. Go ahead and finish. I kind of have like a couple of points here.
So one of the things is I knew I needed a bed of at least 5 foot. The other thing is I know I've hinted before, but this coming year in 24, I'm planning to do 2, if not 3 track days. And judging after the last autocross where I barely made it home, luckily it was nothing, but I was having to clutch kick it and I had to push it maybe a quarter mile. At one point, the air intake, one of the silicone sleeves or rubber sleeves, fell off, so the car wasn't getting air and just dying. So it made me realize, I need something to tow. So the Frontier tows 600-700 pounds, which is double the weight of my car, more than double the weight of my car. And if I put a dolly on it or a trailer, I won't have any issues. But I was looking for a 5-foot bed, something at least 6,000, if not more pounds, 4-wheel drive, and that I could off-road a few times a year because I do enjoy hiking. I used to have a mountain bike a lot. I know Mike enjoyed that back in the day as well. So trail riding, going out there, going to the beach. We have kayaks, living that. I don't want to say like living that Subaru like outdoorsy lifestyle, but I do partake in some of those things.
Scissoring.
I'll get in between.
Yeah. So, all right, hold on. I have to.
Chelsea, stop giving Nick wine.
It's a Subaru thing. It's a Subaru thing. Don't worry about it.
All right, I have to stop you there. So, I love Subarus. Actually, my sister's car shopping, and one car that I told her to look at is the Outback. Out of any, I guess you can call it an SUV. It's
wagon.
Weird. It's weirdly enough classified as
wagon.
It's classified as a mid-sized vehicle. I don't know why.
Because they don't know what to label it.
Apparently not.
So I would call it. That car used to be the Impreza Outback.
No, I know
and
that. And
it just kind of grew a little bit. So it's in a really weird niche.
But has an amazing following, like a tremendous, not amazing.
But here's the thing. I drove one at CarMax a long time ago. I was bored one day and I went to CarMax and I was like, oh, let me drive cars. And I was like, what the hell is this? Oh, it's an Outback. So I drove it. Excuse me, weirdly enough, I fell in love with the Outback. It's probably by far one of my favorite SUVs, if you can even call it an SUV. SUV slash crossover
Lifted wagon,
slash midsize.
whatever it
Yeah,
is.
it's a great car. Surprisingly, it's like I said, it's probably by far out of anything that I've driven in that category. If there's any other cars in that category, it's by far my favorite car. But it has no towing capacity.
That was my issue because I looked.
Subaru needs to step it the fuck up and
I think
actually
it was
add some towing
3,500
capabilities to it. It's
Yeah.
nothing. And
Yeah,
even
like-
if you bump up to
The Ascent only goes 5,000.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, thank you. I was just gonna say that the Ascent.
They're not truck
Dude,
chassis.
I'm sorry, bro, but they need to do something about Subaru needs to get your shit together. Your cars are great, but you need to get your shit together in regards to towing. People want to be able to tow shit with your cars.
Yeah.
Because the Ascent, as expensive as it is, it's a fucking $50,000 car, can only tow 500 pounds. I'm sorry, for the same amount of money, I can go and get, and I'm being honest, I actually would want to get like a Colorado or a Canyon. I love those trucks, especially the ZR2 Colorados. They look sick.
They look. I'll give you that. They're just not reliable, but yeah.
I mean, all right, but here's the
It's
thing:
a $65,000 truck, probably.
every manufacturer has their thing. Like Ford has a quality control issue. Sorry, Nick, they do. If you go to who's another truck builder?
Dodge has an electrical issue.
Dodge has an issue. Every manufacturer has an issue.
They're all played.
Yeah, if I had to pick my pick and choose, I would pick a Colorado or a Canyon, or you know what, maybe a Tacoma.
Ranger Raptor, buddy.
They're proven. That's you know what, that would be sick. I'm not gonna lie.
Nick, don't talk to me in 2 years when my lease is up. I need to stay away from you.
You won't make it through your whole lease. Let's be real.
Listen, I'm looking
no way.
I'm looking for.
I'm contractually bound.
Yeah.
I got a side note. So I just counted out my cars in the past 10 years. And
Dude, I don't even want to know.
Guess how many cars, and I can count them out. But I was doing something, and I was like, how many cars have I had? Clearly too many. But if you could guess how many cars
I would say 8 or 9.
12 to 15.
Less
13.
than Eric, more than Mike.
Really?
What? I want to say 11. I think it was 10.
Oh.
So I had the Speed 3
per year,
which is insane. Because after the Speed 3, I had that for a year and a half. But then, so counting from trading the Speed 3 to the Jeep, had that for 6 months.
Jeep.
Had the Mini. Then from the Mini, I went to... Where'd I go to? I went to the Xterra.
Yeah, I forgot the Xterra.
Then I had the GTI, the Mark 7.
Yep.
After the Mark 7, I regretfully bought the WRX.
Then the Trailhawk.
Then I had the Jeep. Yep. Then I had the Durango. Then I had the Mark 8 GTI. And now I have the Frontier.
Why is it?
That doesn't even include the Mustang.
Yeah.
That doesn't even include the Mustang.
So that doesn't include the Mustang.
Oh, sorry.
It's a running, registered, insured car.
So that's 11.
I have a problem that I didn't realize.
That's 11.
So here's the thing. I'm surprised that you only have like 11 cars, because I have like 9 on my belt. Because I have my first car was my Integra.
10 years.
Decade. I have one per year in the past 10 years. Oh yeah, no, I have more.
I've had 3.
Wait, in the last
time
10
you've
years?
had 10. 3. Speed 3.
You are
Infinity M56, and then my Elantra.
And the Miata, you have 4. 4.
I guess.
We're counting them.
That's 4. Yeah.
So I've had the Speed 3, the BRZ, the IS250, the Miata, and the Corvette. So I've had 5.
GS, no, the GS and the
the GS.
Yeah.
And the Miata that never ran. I'm going to count it.
No,
that's 7.
Well, that means I can count that one too, since I owned it when it was running.
No. I was counting the Miata because it was the Speed 3, the BRZ, the IS, the Miata, the GS, and the Corvette. So that's 6. So I've had 6 cars in 10 years.
I got to think about that. So it was the A4, the A6. Yeah, fuck, what was it? A4, A6. There was a Miata thrown into there, a shitty one.
2 Miatas now.
At some point, there was another Miata, so there's up to 4. The G70,
the 944,
the Porsche,
and the ST,
and the ST, and that's
7.
And for about 3 years there, I had demos. I had Santa Fe demos new every
I
few
wouldn't
weeks.
count those.
That's what I'm saying. I don't count those.
I was going to say,
If you're at 7, I'm not the only one here with a car cane addiction.
Oh no, not at all. If I didn't have demos, I would have been flipping shit more those 3 years. But
let's be honest, we all have
the A6 that whole time, and I sold it to my dad. He was driving it for a while, and then he bought it off of me. But yeah, I had demos for like 3 years at Hyundai, so I never had to buy a car, which was nice.
So I'm not the only one with car cane addiction. Mike, thank you. I might be financially responsible in the future with retirement and stuff like that.
That's a fucking lie.
But thank you for being responsible for not buying cars like we do.
It's just because I don't know.
Mike's kind of the same boat with me. He had a company car for years and didn't need to buy anything else.
Yeah, for three.
He didn't even drive the 2 cars that he owned.
Exactly. So for almost 4 years, I drove a company vehicle every day. So my 2 cars just sat. So that's if I had.
And now you get to drive, and now you get to drive both if you want to.
Yeah,
finally.
I'm not really driving the Miata for work. I thought about it actually this week. I'm thinking about taking
You should.
taking it.
It's
to
cool.
work.
Your heat
It's
works.
cooler weather. I'm driving my Corvette only because I have to, because the IS is down.
What's wrong with it?
I'm doing maintenance on it, and so Lexus kind of shafted their IS 250 and 350 owners because apparently their intake manifolds, they have Allen key or Allen bolts. So it's the bolt that you have to put an Allen into it. So I messed one of them up, and then the second one is rounded. So I have to figure something.
The one where you got to put the Allen key in and then crank it with like an open socket.
Yeah.
I hate those things.
No. It's rounded on the outside with an Allen key in the center.
Does it at least
I got you.
With the marks on it so you can get a wrench and turn it?
No.
Not until I get my hands on it with a vice grip. I'll put marks in it.
Dude,
Come on, I'll bring my research.
Here's the thing. It's inside of my intake manifold, so you can't put nothing in there.
Nothing a hammer and a hammer doesn't fix.
You can probably hammer a socket onto that bolt, like a smaller socket,
that'll work for you.
Hammer it in there, and then bolt it out.
We see where they are. We drill a hole. We get it out, and then we JB weld the hole shut.
That's a thought. That's a thought. However,
on that note, why don't we just pull the whole wiring harness out too while we're at it? Just pull it out. It's fine.
No, we gotta cut it. You gotta cut it and then pull it.
That's the most random shit ever.
First, always cut
first. That's probably gonna be something that Nick is gonna say is like, they just pull the wiring harness out and start cutting shit we don't need to.
Okay. Other than my cars, let's be honest, I have come up with some creative ways to fix your guys' shit.
You know what? I'm not gonna disagree with that.
My cars are a different story. When I own them, I do some questionable things.
You are 100% right on that, because I remember we did the trilogy motor mounts for my Speed 3. And the motor, so we did the motors first, and then we did the one in the back. But when we removed the one in the back, the motor literally shifted. No, wait, hold on. We did the driver's side first, which is the motor mount. We did the back of the motor, which is a transmission mount. Fucking thumbs up. We did the one in the back of the motor.
Why wouldn't you do the back first?
I think we did the back first.
I think you were there, sir. You should have suggested.
You were there.
Oh, I was there. That was at my house.
You were there. No. It was at Nick's house. It was at Nick's
my garage.
And then we went to go do the passenger side, and then Nick's like, it was like the motor was like twisted, and we were like, holy fuck! I was like, how are we gonna put this back? So Nick's like, let's just use your scissor lift, and I'm like, or not the scissor lift, the scissor jack. The scissor jack, and I'm like, it's not gonna work. He's like, bet, let's go.
Shove that bitch between the engine block and the firewall and crank that bad boy open, man.
So thanks to Nick, we've done a lot of questionable shit, but it works.
Yeah,
it always works.
And Mike, I don't want to work on anything at your house anymore, because every time I do, I take a fucking coolant bath every time.
My Speed 3.
I am over your garage.
What was it? It was my Speed 3.
And his Speed 3.
Yeah.
He promised me all the coolant was out of every line. I get under there, he pops the last one and just dumps on me.
All right.
Every time.
To Mike's defense. To Mike's defense. To Mike's
I'm
defense,
cool with my
we
hands.
actually we drained everything except for the one thing we didn't take into consideration was the line still had bullets, and that's why you were under the car.
Yep. Pop that last one and
Oh
You
man,
liked
that's
it.
great.
Don't you lie about it.
it wasn't even warm. Cold.
Anyways, this derailed conversation about trucks being too big.
Yeah.
Bottom
Yeah, what
line
the
is
hell?
Bottom line is Americans are retarded. They like things that are way too big.
Whoa.
Time out.
Hey.
What?
Listen, Mr. Nicaraguan, chill out, okay?
What? It's true. You don't need a big ass truck or SUV.
Carmelo, can you call ICE? You gotta ice, buddy. We gotta get them out.
The question is, so with the trucks getting bigger and bigger and more luxurious, nicer, is bigger really better, or are
No, it's fucking not. You don't need anything that fucking big.
100%.
You don't need anything that big.
I'm
100%.
perfectly
It's like,
fine
all right,
with
look.
here.
My sister is a perfect example. She's looking what she wants, and I'm just gonna. So I kind of mentioned that my sister got into an accident. Nick kind of ran some numbers here for her, which she's kind of considering the Explorer. Nick,
Hey Nick, are you gonna hook my brother up with you?
It's my sister and my nephew. That's it. It's just two of them. She wants a third row seat SUV. Why? He's like 10 or 11. She can pull off a hatchback.
Or an edge.
He doesn't need it.
Or an
I will
edge.
say, as a third row SUV owner, they're
But you have two kids.
Now, granted, we have two kids.
You have two kids, and it's you and your wife.
Go
It's
on
just
things,
so-
like-
it's my sister and my nephew.
I know.
So it's her and her son. So it's just
A
two.
note on the truck thing again. And I'm, I hope our viewers and our listeners give me some shit about this, but like the Hyundai Santa Cruz.
I will.
The Hyundai Santa
okay.
Cruz.
Okay.
In my mind, that is like the perfect little truck. Like that, for me, for my needs, right? I need a truck 4 times a year when I have to go to Home Depot to get mulch or some, 2x4s, right? Like a handful of times.
Well, then just
Maybe.
rent it. Just rent it. It's like
Well,
$25
Oh,
an
yeah.
hour.
But like, I would never,
$19.99 at Home Depot plus
I would
mileage.
never need a
Mhm.
truck, but like I feel like that is the kind of thing that like people that buy trucks, that's what they need. They just need something to throw some crap in the back occasionally, right? They
I
don't
mean,
need
realistically,
You can do that in the CX-9. I mean, there's times that I
like,
wish
you can.
I just
Yeah.
got that I bought another Durango. I love
Yeah.
the Durango, other than the electrical issues I had. And there are times where I'm like, man, this is really just like a Durango minus the third row
Yeah.
and the enclosed seating.
I just took a nice RT in. Just saying.
No, I got 2.5 years left on my lease.
That's nothing. That's a
It's-
small hill for a mountain climber,
Really?
buddy. We got this.
Earlier you said 2 years. Now it's 2.5. It's going up as we sit here and talk.
Yeah, so I bought it in June. So I was, and Nick, if you pay it off, maybe we'll work out a deal.
Well, sir, unfortunately, you bought a greatly depreciating brand, so we'll.
Hey, the
Actually,
front
so I
That's
looked
all
at
right.
an
We'll repeat that.
SV, a Frontier SV, the other day I
yeah,
appraised
cheaper.
with a midnight package. Not a bad truck. The Frontier and the Titan, non-diesel, are about the only Nissan products outside of a GTR that I like, that are solid products. I can't knock them one bit. They don't have the bullshit CVTs, and then they have real engines.
No, it's real,
They are capable. They don't look bad. And it actually it wasn't that bad of a trade. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't that bad of a trade. It was a very clean midnight edition. It was very nice. But yeah, no, I might be able to get you out of it. I don't know.
So you're saying that the 400Z is not on your list? Shame.
Oh, I forgot about that. But again, the
Q
wife
in,
told me.
Q in
It's
the shame
unattainable
right now.
My wife already told me
It's
my next
unattainable.
tool has to have 4 seats, so a 2+2 at a minimum.
So it's out.
I'm thinking the +2. Yeah, so that's why I'm looking at like again a year and a half from now, early 2000s, 911, something like that. A 350 could be in the play, but it's got to be fun, stick shift. This is the wife's requirement. It has to have rear seats. It has to be a 6-speed.
This
And
Durango is
that's
60-something thousand miles. That's
Huh?
not. The Durango is no. It's like it's too much money, and the mileage is too high.
He's looking at it though.
He
He's
is.
looking at it.
Yeah.
I looked at it. There's no
White
pictures.
White
Yeah.
one.
I don't know. It was a 2018. I don't know.
I
2018.
think that's the one I just
42
took in.
grand.
Yeah.
It was the only Dodge you guys have.
Is it an RT?
But anyway, Eric, what's our? Yeah, it was an RT. What's our next topic before I make bad choices? I can't make it in 10 years.
We
I'll have your brother call you tomorrow.
Next up is actually going to be a beverage recap. Yes. Thanks, Mike. So I'll go ahead and kick it off. Woodford Reserve, horrible. Was not a fan of it. Just kidding. Woodford Reserve is great. What? I'm just joking. Woodford Reserve. Nick over here scolding me. Yeah, right. No, Woodford Reserve is great. I really enjoyed it, especially after making. I made like butter seasoned chicken, which is really good. With a couscous. I'm trying to eat healthy. I need
That's a good choice there, buddy.
Yeah,
that is.
So it was good. It was good. So that kind of fit perfectly. The Imperial Stout from Burial, bro.
Right?
Wow.
Holy shit! I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
What? Oh. After trying this one, I am really excited to what I have in my fridge. I kind of don't want to open it without you, Nick, because holy shit, the other 4 bottles that I have, every single one is a stout. So I kind of want to open it with you.
A little
so
bottle
you can
share,
try
mate.
it. Yeah, we're gonna have to. So I think I'm gonna keep those so like when we actually meet up, because
So
holy shit.
the good news is I did get both the special bourbon counties this year that I could probably share on the same time.
Ooh, you
I'm
got
sure
the
Mike got
Rare
some
and
too.
Angels Envy.
I got them
Man,
both this year.
Didn't they have a banana one?
Brandon hooked me up. He had a couple hidden when I got there that night.
They had
Nice.
a banana one, right? Man, I really
I
wanted the
Bananas
banana
Foster
one.
as well.
Oh,
Dude,
man.
it's so, I had it on
tap.
draft. I had Bananas Foster on tap. It's so good.
That's how I
Fuck,
had
man.
the first time at number 3, and it was just oh god.
Yep.
Man,
It's delicious.
I don't regret, but I do regret that I was in North Carolina around that time, because I could have gone to number 3 and Brandon would have hooked me up too. But anyways, shout out to Brandon. You're freaking awesome. You're a G. You're an MVP. Name it. That's what you are. You and Mark. You guys are great. But anyways, that Burial beer.
So good. You
Phenomenal.
can't even talk anymore.
Dude, it's amazing.
It is my.
I need to
if
try
you didn't
it.
see my reaction, the first 2 sips that I had was like,
left.
it was like, wow, dude. And I have 4 more. I'm gonna have to take pictures of the label and send you guys. But holy shit, that is phenomenal.
Yeah, I have one bottle left of what Eric drank tonight that I can store away until we can do a bottle share.
Dude, it's so good. But anyways,
Nice.
Burial, top tier. Whatever you guys did with that, keep doing your thing. Holy shit. I definitely want to go back to a brewery. I've mentioned it before. We definitely need to make a trip up to Asheville. And Nick, you're gonna love Burial, man.
Dude,
like,
if you go up there again before I can go up there, I'm just gonna like Apple Pay you like $200 and tell you just to random pick me shit and bring me stuff back.
Dude.
After that one,
I mean, shit. I was up when I was up there. They had. Hold on. Give me a second.
This is like the episode of Tangents. We're just all over the place tonight.
Yeah. I have a friend.
Dude, that cat is huge.
Yeah, he
He's
is
that big.
All right, so
pretty big.
Yeah, he is massive.
I mean, we named him Ragnar after a Viking, so
that's so fitting. That's so fitting for you too.
Oh, I know.
All right, so these are the other beers that I got from Bureau, and apparently this is going to be a shout out to Bureau now. So this one, I kind of said it on one of the other podcasts, but it's Portal of Sound to explore the possibility of non-existence.
Their names are crazy.
So
they are. So it's a 15% ABV beer. Hold on, listen to this. It's an imperial stout with Tahitian vanilla, macadamia nut, pineapple, Vietnamese cinnamon, smoked sea salt, and double dipped in cocoa nibs. That sounds,
Oh my god,
bro, that sounds awesome.
There's a lot going on.
So
in
the
there.
next three
it's like
are
a
actually
dessert
the
of
ones.
roast Chris.
They are. So the next three are actually ones that I bought when I came back. So the other one, my sister bought it for me when we ordered all of the beers. So this is the next one's a 14% ABV. It's called Portal to Witness Non-Existence. It's an imperial stout with cocoa nibs, pistachio, orange zest, cinnamon, Tahitian vanilla beans, and maple wood smoked sea salt. That sounds awesome.
That sounds like the last one.
Kind
No,
of, but
It's a lot of the same ingredients.
It does, but yeah. But then the next one is it's a 15% ABV. It's the inescapable grasp of unwilling reincarnation.
dude, they
Dude, that
literally
sounds
sound
like
like white
That's
cards
Cards
out of
Against
out of-
Humanity.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's exactly what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Sounds
Yeah.
like Cards
That's
Against
honestly
Humanity.
that's probably the reason why I like it. Like subconsciously, that's probably the reason, like the connection that I made. But this one is Mike. You're gonna like this one. It's a rye barrel and bourbon barrel aged imperial stout,
Ooh,
bro.
spicy.
Yeah, and then the last one that I have is a 13% ABV beer, and it's called "To Remain Oblivious to Evolution Until Inevitable Existence." It's an imperial stout with
Why does the card
toasted
against
blueberries, cocoa nibs, and Tahitian vanilla beans. Dude,
All I want to know is what these guys are taking or smoking before they come up with names, because I need some of that.
bro, I don't know, man,
Jesus.
but all of like the names are awesome. The art on the bottles is awesome, and they taste phenomenal. So we need to make a trip up to Beer and Company. So
Let's go.
shout out to you guys. You guys are making a great beer, great imperial stouts, and I am so looking forward to drinking these. But I'm gonna share it with all you guys. So, anyways, Mike.
Speaking of the big cat, how about this dummy? Hey,
Yeah,
It's
right.
a big dog too. So I'm not gonna lie, the Hop Banshee, soon as I opened it, like foamed over all over the table next to me. Like I don't know if you can tell, I was like reaching back here and grabbing napkins. Like completely, I would say it's overcarbonated, but I think it's old. I think it's a little old because it's definitely got a. I didn't even finish it. It's the first time on the podcast I didn't finish a beer. It's oxidized a bit, so I'm not gonna.
okay.
I'm not gonna bash it. I just feel like it might be an older can that.
so
got
was
picked
it?
up off a shelf
I've had a
somewhere or
similar
something.
problem if it didn't get to temp. Like, if I was in between like the warm and like the cold temp, I've had them like.
No,
Could it?
this
No.
was
Okay.
this was definitely secondary fermentation. Like when I opened it, it just all over the table. It went everywhere. But
Interesting.
I'm not going to say anything more about that. The 2 Xmas, delicious as always. Feels right going into Christmas. It's got that nice holiday spice to it. Nice 8% to set you right. So really good beer. I wish I had
Nice.
some more. This was the only bottle that I had at 2 Xmas, and I'm drinking it right now. So nothing to drink
I'm
on
sorry, you
Christmas.
can come
now.
visit me and get one out of the keg.
I should.
Right?
I'm off the week. I'm off the week of Christmas, so maybe I'll come hit you up on Tuesday.
The week after,
The week
Yeah,
I'll be
of.
that's
driving
true, the
back
week
from
after.
Tennessee.
The week of.
Like, yeah, the 27th, I'll be driving back from
Oh.
Tennessee that whole day. Yeah.
All right.
So, Nick, did you just invite us over for ramen? Did I just hear that right?
We'll do something else here soon. We haven't decided on another night for that just yet.
Okay.
I want more of those like udon noodles that you did that one
Oh.
day that you put them like on like the blacktop or
the yaki udon.
blackstone.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, we might do another just general food and booze night. I don't know that it'll be ramen, but we'll probably do something again here in the near future.
Carmelo.
All
Your
right.
time to
So
shine.
my time, superstar. No, so this was good. It was interesting. I haven't really had
figures.
many.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for your background to like firework or something.
Rainbow flag.
There you
Oh,
go.
Or do you want this one?
That's not a thing, is it? Oh my god, that's a thing.
That one's badass. All right, I like that one.
Why have we never seen that
I
one
hope
before?
I hope the viewers can see what we see and they just don't think we're crazy. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, the wheel took
So,
before this episode.
Apparently, okay.
that
So
is not fact.
when this happened like a couple months back, I actually researched everything, and apparently it's my MacBook. I did an update on it. It's got iOS 17, and apparently with hand gestures, that's why you guys are seeing like the thumbs up and shit. My camera is picking that up and it's doing hand gestures. So there's the thumbs up, of course.
Bro, the rock on.
And if I do two, it's that, or if I can do the rock on, it's the light show. So there's a couple of other ones, but they're cheesy as shit. Or I could do the thumbs down.
See,
Sad.
I feel like if you do this, it should be like flames, like something metal,
Right?
like
Yeah,
like explosion or something.
Yeah,
yeah.
Missed opportunity, Apple.
Yeah. Anyways, I found that out. That's what it was. Anyways, Carmelo, go ahead and finish what you're drinking.
So yeah, the collaboration I got from Drecker and the Brewing Company or the Brewing Project. Apologize. It was okay. With Drecker, they're typically a little more of like a pulpy consistency, and I mean the Brewing Project, a lot of their sours taste like a smoothie, just with hops. So this was like more of a sour, a mix of a traditional sour with a touch of pulp. So it wasn't. It was almost more carbonated than I anticipated. So it was good overall. Not overly tart, but a lot more carbonated than I expected. But nice. Overall, the flavors were good. The profiles were there. I know the can says lemon, lime, orange, cherry, raspberry, guava, but it wasn't overwhelming. I'll be honest, I couldn't really taste the guava or the cherry. It was just a bunch of lime, orange, and raspberry. It also says marshmallows in here and vanilla. Couldn't really taste it. Otherwise, though, it was good. I'm still a fan of both companies. So,
hold on, you got to talk about what your first drink should have been, but you didn't drink it.
So I did have a first drink off camera. Yeah, so I opened up a ice wine that I'm a huge fan of ice wines. I know I've brought one on the show before. I was like, oh, you know what? Let me be. I was actually going to pull something with Nick, and we didn't coordinate it, but I was going to, try to bring something that the viewers would be able to get somewhat local. My ice wine was from Cooper's Hawk. I know they are in many states, so rather than get something like we typically get that are either regional or from Number 3, who the guys over there, they get some of the coolest stuff, small batch microbrew stuff. Try to do something a little more relatable, something that the fans were like, oh, like I want to try, this. So I pulled it out, and granted, I think the bottle probably 6-7 months old. Granted, it's a wine, but it
should be fun.
It was bad.
Oh,
I've had multiple wines, and it didn't. I've had their ice wine multiple times. I've been getting it off and on for the past 6 years, and it was off. Again, I don't know if there was something in handling, because it was for a little bit. It was in a closet before we put it into our wine fridge, but something.
Yeah, typically a wine's either good or it's oxidized and has that kind of appley taste to it. So it probably was. I would honestly, I would have you or the wife run that back to Cooper's Hawk. They'll probably make that right. Be like, dude, I just cracked this thing, and this is what it's like.
Well, I cracked the big. It was like more than half the bottle, so I doubt. I got a subscription. Like I probably have a dozen bottles, a case, if not more, with them that I need to pick up. So it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to put them on blast because I like their wines. I think we've all been there, and their food is good. Their wines are good, and they do get unique blends from different areas of the world. From Italy, France, some domestic, some even I think they have like a South African or a South American. So I don't want to be negative. I just think my bottle maybe there was some error, something went wrong with it.
Yeah.
But
probably a problem in bottling. Got too much oxygen in it or something like that, and sat.
Yeah.
Possibly.
And it happens.
It does. It happens. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But to Carmelo's point, my Cooper's Hawk, which he was just talking about, my Sauvignon Blanc was delicious. So the wife gave me bottle service while we were chit chatting. Finish the bottle off, but for anybody whether there's one in Naples, there's one in Fort Myers for our local people, And they're based out of Chicago area, I believe, Illinois. I think is where they're originally from. So yeah, so to his point, they're kind of all over the country. If you've got one local, try them out. Set a reservation. Go get some food. Do a tasting. I mean, they make great wines. Every now and then, you get real lucky. They've got one of their ones sitting in shop, aging in a barrel, an oak barrel, that they'll tap right out of. So there's some cool opportunities there. And the food's phenomenal. I know me and Carmelo, both of our families, subscribe for the monthly bottle deals. I think. Do you guys do a 3-bottle too? I don't know.
Yeah, we do the 3.
Yeah, so the 3-bottle gets you an extra discount when at dinner. 3 bottles plus the Lux upgrade, so you can upgrade every month one of the bottles to one of their luxury high-end wines. Awesome opportunity. But anyway, the Salt Blanc.
Do you work there, bro? I mean, you're really selling it.
I like my booze, and the people that give me good booze are my family. Okay, that's how this works.
Yeah.
So anyway,
he's just hyping them up. That's all he's doing.
Man. Highly recommend. It's thanks to Carmelo and his wife that we ever have gone there in the first place, and we liked it. We went to Naples. They opened a Fort Myers one. I subscribed to a bottle packet every month. We went for my birthday. So it's a good restaurant. It's close to you, man. So it's a solid.
It's really close to you. Yeah, but anyway, to
white wine was good.
To Nick's point, he's just hyping them up. That's all he's doing. Exactly. Anyways, by the way, Cooper Talk Game. If you guys are looking to sponsor somebody, what's up? You know,
some of us really like wine. I'm just saying. I used to make it with my family. Me and Carmelo, the Guidos, we like this shit. But anyway.
Little Vinny or Vino sponsorship? Why
not? I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Yeah. Anyway, this stuff, the Glenlivet 15, the single malt, but this is specifically, it's probably not going to focus in. There you go, a little bit of the French Oak Reserve. So they finished it in just some French oak wine bottles to give a little spiciness to it and that fruit forwardness. This stuff is pretty phenomenal. In terms of scotches, it's not super smoky and spicy, even though the label says it's supposed to add a little spice to it. You know, I like my dark liquors. Some of them can be a little too hot to taste. This is definitely not one of them. And this is about an $8 bottle. And it has a phenomenal finish, very smooth. You really pick up that oakiness on the back end of it. You definitely don't get that hot. I mean, I drink a lot of liquor room temp, so I think my throat's just used to it. But yeah. I have a gag reflex. Anyway, the stuff goes down really smooth, really. I heard you giggling.
Don't go there, Carmelo. Just don't go there. Just let him finish.
Phenomenal flavor. The French oak definitely adds a nice mouthfeel to it. Great finish, nice and smooth. Different mouthfeel, Carmelo. Head out of the gutter. Anyway,
it makes it nice and smooth. Yeah. It just slides right in. Right down.
Exactly. It's nice and smooth, you know? I'm not saying I'm a throat goat or anything, but this is good stuff. So, poor Mike. Anything for the most part, anything from Glenlivet, you really can't go wrong if you're trying to venture into scotches. Glenfiddich, Glenlivet, any of those, you really can't go wrong with at least a 12-year. And then as you get up from there, it just gets better. So I would definitely recommend the 15-year French Oak Reserve for anybody looking to spend under $100 and get a good bottle for the holidays for somebody or just for yourself. This was my little treat to myself because I have no idea when I'll open the Utopias. I haven't figured that out yet. This was my now treat. So definitely.
How many Utopias did you buy?
It's a limit of one per person at $280 a bottle. I was not buying more than one. Let's just put it that way today.
Okay, you said plural. To be fair, you said plural. My Utopias.
No, it's called Utopias. It is literally a singular bottle, has an S on the end, so that's just the name of it. Utopias. Okay. I only bought one. That was my limit. That's all the stores let me buy. I was looking at some more expensive cognacs and scotches, and I knew if I came home with $600 for 2 bottles, my wife would murder me. So I tried to cut back a little bit.
Shout out to my aunt and uncle because they gifted me it's like, I don't know how much this bottle costs, but it's up there. I have a Don Julio 1942 bottle.
Oh, that's good shit, dude. That is a great sipping tequila, man.
Oh my God, dude. It's good stuff. So good. I'll bring it out next time.
When I worked in a bar 15 years ago, that was $25 a shot. And I know it's more now. So that's probably a $150 bottle.
Probably.
Yeah. That is good tequila. Great sipping tequila.
I'll bring it out so you guys can sip on some.
I'm down for that. That's one of the few that I'll sip on.
Yeah. All right, so that's our beverage recap for today's podcast. Last topic that we have here today is going to be like kind of like a mind blowing thing because we talked about one person already on our podcast, which is Hurt, and he left Hoonigan, and we just heard this past week, and there is a video that he posted, which I'll post it on the description below, of now Vinny leaving Hoonigan, which is crazy because you have two of the biggest names in Hoonigan, Vinny and her, and they left Hoonigan. There's only possibly like one or two guys, like one or two big names left. Yeah, which is Brian Scotto, which he still is part owner.
The head producer, and
and maybe I don't even know if Kakawa is still there, but Vinny left. He's
Are you sure? Are you sure that he left and he wasn't trolling?
Who, Vinny?
Yeah.
No, he left. He's leaving. He posted a video on YouTube and everything.
Okay.
So he's leaving.
Like wait for what's coming, like something's coming up or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's
Hurt announced
they're all
that
going their own directions now. Like it's just
like an exodus, man. It's weird.
They are, and I guess it's because Hoonigan was actually, and I didn't realize this until Vinny's video. Apparently, Hoonigan got partially bought out by another company. I forgot the name of the company that they got bought out by, but I'll put it this on the description below. It's in Vinny's video, so I'll link that in the description, and I'll send you the guys the
Wheel
link.
Pros bought them out.
Wheel Pros,
yes, Wheel Pros bought them out.
I forgot about that, but that was a couple years ago. That was
and according to Vinny, it's the company is no longer and
so
not to knock
October
Wheel Pros at all.
Yeah, they announced Wheel Pros announced in October they were going to be rebranding Hoonigan. So this is probably where this is all coming from.
Beginning of the end, right there.
Yeah, so pretty much what.
Why would you whistle that? It's a winning recipe.
100%.
I don't know, but to what Vinny said is that he's not knocking Wheel Pros. He's all for what Wheel Pros is doing.
Mm-hmm.
But Hoonigan is no longer the company that it was before, unfortunately. Obviously, we're coming up close to the 1 year of Ken Block passing, which is very, very sad. I mean, even right now, I'm kind of getting chills thinking about Ken Block passing. But it's since his passing, it's really not the same company anymore. Because or even since Wheel Pros actually bought out part of Hoonigan, it's no longer the same. Mm-hmm. So they are able to do the things that they were before, but it's becoming a little bit more corporate. And I kind of experienced that at my previous employer. Not to knock them, they're still a great company. They're just the corporate aspect of it kind of changes the dynamic of the company, which I kind of understand that. So that's why he decided to kind of part ways with Hoonigan. But he is looking for to do new things. He hasn't announced anything as of yet. I, for one, actually am excited to see what Vinny is going to be doing. His persona, as well as Hertz, was one of my favorite ones watching the older Hoonigan channels back in like 2019 and 2020. So I'm actually excited to see what he's going to be doing. But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I'm excited to see what's more to come on his journey.
Because I don't follow Hoonigan too closely to know much beyond the Block family and Hurt, the big kind of faces that you always see in a lot of the stuff.
Yeah,
it's my only hope is that the buyout from Wheel Pros doesn't affect Leah Block in the racing. Like I hope that's a big push still, and they still do that because I mean she's coming out as such a great driver for how young she is. I mean, great. Her genetics and her mentor before he passed, her father, was just epic. So I mean, you got one of the greatest rally and like Gymkhana drivers the world's ever seen, may ever see.
I mean,
absolutely. Like and teaching her everything he knows as from such an early age. And what is she, 17 now or something like that? Winning 16, rally 17, races, winning rally races and Gymkhana. Like I mean, and then she did the Hoonapig hill climb at Pikes Peak.
Yeah,
like the kid's amazing. Like, she's got to have a hell of a career in the automotive industry and in the racing industry. So hopefully Wheel Pros has the financial backing to push her forward into that. That's all I hope. I hope at the end of the day they push Hoonigan and her to new levels. And I understand that the big personalities are going to go do their own thing because they probably won't be allowed to do the same stuff.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. But I just hope that it doesn't hurt the Block name and family.
Like, I've always thought of Hoonigan as like two different sides to the coin, right? Like you said, you have Ken Block and all the things that he was doing with the company, which was on the racing side, which is basically just him, like on that side. And then you have everybody else, and they had but you have Scotto, you have Zach, and then you had Hurt, you had Vinny, and all these guys. What the guy that built the Miata cart, like.
Oh, we can't forget Dan. Dan left too.
Yeah. Well, Dan already. He was the first one to leave. He's been gone. Yeah. He's like on a pit crew or something now for a drift team. But like
RTR, yeah.
RTR,
is it really?
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So, but like to my point, it just seems like I've been watching Hoonigan, like their YouTube channel for years, and they had some really awesome content. Like back when they were at their before they had the burn yard, like back when it was like their actual building with a dump in the back.
Like, that was the good time.
It was awesome. Like they would get like so many cool cars in there, and like they only had limited space, but they did so much cool stuff. And then then they got to their new spot, which I kind of followed it a little bit for about 6 months after they got into their new. I can't remember what racetrack it is. It's at a track.
Irwindale Speedway.
Irwindale, yeah.
Yeah.
So I watched it for a little bit after they moved over, but it's like, man, I kind of fell out. It just seems like the content wasn't the same as what it was before.
Yeah, it wasn't the same as the original Burnyard content, which I kind of agree.
Yeah, because I stopped watching them after, because they do car reviews, they do like a little burnout, they might do a couple donuts in that narrow,
that
parking lot
or alleyway. Yep.
They did like drag races, down that little drag strip too, or like that little runway. But I feel like my last two favorite videos that they actually did at the Burnyard, which one of them was at the Burnyard, but they didn't do anything too crazy, was that they actually had like a group of it was a car gang or like a car group, and they had like all old school cars, and one of them had like an R31 Skyline that like the lip was like hidden, and then it like popped out, and everybody like freaked out.
Yeah,
that was a cool video. And then the last one was, which wasn't even at the Burnyard, it was at that location, but it wasn't at the Burnyard, but it was Hurt doing a beer with, and he was the last person that they did a beer with, and he broke the record of how many beers he drank on that episode. He drank like 13 or 14 Sam man, what are those beers? No, past Blue Ribbon. He drank like PBR. He drank like 13 or 14 PBRs. I was like, man, like he's a trooper. Which, speaking of which, Hurt, if you actually ever get to watch our podcast, we definitely want to have you on here, and we'll ship you some good stuff to drink, man. You can drink 13 or 14 beers, but you can drink some good shit on here.
Anyways, Bill. Let's get that.
Hell yeah. But yeah, those are my two favorite episodes, like from like older Hoonigan videos. But you know what though, like to Vinny's point, it's not the same Hoonigan anymore.
No,
so I can see why.
To Mike's point, when they moved, is when I stopped watching them. It stopped being relatable. Where when they had that other, when they had their old setup, it was a garage with an alleyway, and it was like a bunch of guys, and then it got. They started getting more famous people on, more drivers, and I don't know. For me, it just wasn't the same, and that was about 2 years ago, give or take.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
So when
around the time they got
doing, what did they start doing? The this versus that, I think. Like,
like
that was entertaining for a while too.
Yeah.
Like, I watched some of those. Like that was kind of cool. Some like good grassroots drag racing, and it was you would get 3 runs, and like they would adjust each run to like make it more fair. So that was cool.
Yeah.
But like they got to the point where it's just they started doing more ridiculous stuff, and they had like a monster truck out there, and it's like, come on, like.
Yeah.
Well, they split it, because recently I saw this versus that off road with like the little bunny jumps and stuff. Because I saw one, again, the Ford guy, a Bronco versus a Jeep, and the Bronco's just like rocking through this thing, and the Jeep loses control and tumbles, rips itself apart. The guy was okay. The dude was perfectly fine. He made it out just fine. But it was funny watching it. But man, I remember when this versus that first came out, and I think that was like the debut early on for Leah Block. Because in one of the episodes, they threw her in the Hoonicorn,
No, that was at the very beginning. That was a different one though. They did like a specific one versus the Unicorn. So I think they took some of the fastest cars they got on this versus that, like the RS3 that was like 1,000 horsepower.
I think that was the first one I watched her run. It was her and the Unicorn versus an RS3 or some boosted GTR, boosted to hell, and it was cool to watch. It was fun to watch that stuff.
I'll tell you
I was rooting for the RS3 back then because man, we were all on that RS3 kick pretty hardcore, and that thing was nasty.
Unicorn is just insane.
Yeah, but the IROS RS3 builds are just stupid. Stupid.
Yeah.
Which is the base engine I'm putting in the Porsche someday.
Yeah. Someday when that happens.
So hold on. Before we go any further, will Nick's lease on the Explorer be finished? Because he bought the Explorer, for those who don't know, he bought the Explorer so that he could tow the Porsche to the track.
He leased the Explorer.
He leased. He leased.
Yeah.
So will that 3-year lease be up prior to the Porsche running?
Yes.
You make it like I'll make it through a whole lease, first of all, like you. Second of all, my next upgrade choice is an Expedition with a high output 3.5, so it'll tow just fine.
No, I'm curious to see if you'll keep your Explorer, or not if you'll keep it. You're not going to keep it. Let's be real. But if the Explorer will be gone,
purely bolt-ons for a reason.
P.S. Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
You sure about that? You sure about that? That's why? You sure about that? You sure about that's not why?
Yeah, because the next batch is about 12 G's worth of work for a built transmission, upgraded turbos, in injectors, and high pressure fuel pump. It is a big investment, a shit ton of labor that I will do, but I don't want to do. So, and my car, and now I don't have the Genesis anymore, so I am down to just one running car, and I will need a car while the turbos are being rebuilt. So that is, I'm at about that point where I've drawn the line of what I'm willing to do right now, aside from like wheels or something. I'm not in a rush to do so. I really would love to have the Porsche sitting on its own damn wheels on this new suspension going into this coming summer. I want to do work while the weather's cool and my garage isn't hot as shit. And
so you're saying summertime. So what month during the summer? Because you have June, July, and August.
That's what I'm saying. Before it gets hot. So realistically, going into May, I would love to have all the new arms installed with all the new bushings. I've got the front coils. I got to buy the rear coils. And I already have the wheels.
Just do it.
Well, I know. I already have the wheels. I already have the new offset wheels for a Turbo 944, powder coated dark bronze.
Yeah, you bought those like 4 years ago.
I bought them like 3 months into owning the damn thing. So like 6 years ago.
All right, how about this?
I stole them.
Get parts and we'll put them in. Get the parts and we'll put them in.
As soon as the holidays are over and I get that check from the dealership from selling the Genesis, bushings. And then I just the one thing I haven't found yet is which Porsche Brembo caliper rebuild kit I want. And that's actually the only thing I haven't figured out yet because there's so many friggin' options and I don't know which millimeter my friggin' pistons are. I gotta measure the damn things because there's a 36, a 38, and a 40 millimeter. I have no friggin' clue which ones I bought are. So I have to do a little research to figure that. Those kits are like $50 a caliper, so they're not really that bad.
I'm giving you until September 30th. September 30th of next year. I'll have it on here, and it's going to be on the podcast.
To be sitting on its own suspension and wheels, right?
Okay. Let me change this.
9 months.
I'm going to buy tires tomorrow now just because of you, dickhead.
All right, hold on.
The tires are going to go bad. The tires are going to expire before it runs.
I know. That's why I'm waiting. I want to get the brake rebuild kit.
Bad financial advice. If you're going to get everything, if you're going to get the check from the dealership within 30 days, put it on a credit card, get the points, and then pay it off when your bill comes in next month.
All right, so here it is. September 30th.
Good points are my
I created an event, and it's called "Is the Porsche Sitting on Its Own Suspension?" So we're gonna find out in 9 months if it's actually sitting on its own suspension. If it's not,
be really careful because I could put it back on the factory suspension.
No. Okay.
You better specify.
on its own.
For the viewers at home, you know, we're talking these upgrades that Nick's been talking about, at least on the podcast, for 2 months.
Yes.
One of these days, I am going to drag a wireless webcam or something in my garage to show you the shelf of all the parts and suspension parts stacked up for the same thing.
Okay, there you go. Redone is the Porsche sitting on its own aftermarket suspension. There you go.
Right.
September 30th. You have 9 months.
Some of it is factory suspension, but I get it. I know what you're saying.
Upgraded OEM Plus still counts. It's fine.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. God,
as long as it's not worn. Because you know that we helped you disassemble it, so we know what it looks like.
Oh, yeah. And it hasn't changed since you guys last saw it 3 years ago.
The last time I was at your house, it was still the same.
You guys weren't with me when I disassembled the front end, like to get the front bumper and the headlights out of the way for the engine eventually. So you guys weren't there for that. But everything else is as you saw it. Jack stands in the front, sitting on the rear suspension with tires on the ground. And that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
I shifted it over a little bit with a jack under the rear diff. That's about the only thing that's changed.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm sketchy, but I did it anyway.
Anyways, and on that note, and that bombshell, that's all the time that we have here for today. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate all of our viewers, listeners, and subscribers. Remember to savor your brews and hit the road responsibly. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, share, and subscribe all of our content. Cheers to booze and cars, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
BBC.
Cheers.